devil is a construct, something that we have constructed. That does not make him any less real. In fact, he is as real as anything else that has ever been created. But we must understand that the devil is a construct that we have created. And when we use the word we refer to mankind. For the devil comes not from God, although it is true to say that indirectly everything comes from God. But when we split, when we became separate from God, we brought with us the ability to create. And there have been times in our past when we have known of this ability and have used it, and have used it in a very powerful way. These days we are aware of our ability to create, but we are not aware of the ways in which we can harness that ability to such an extent that we can create incredible things. We use that ability now to enhance our lives or to make our lives worse. For we are all creators, and we can make or break just by the very way that we think. But long ago, the devil was created by us. We wanted something that we could use as a scapegoat. We wanted something that we could blame, that we could utilize in times of trouble, when bad stuff happened. And we wanted to be able to apportion the blame elsewhere. For we are not very good at accepting responsibility for our own actions. We prefer to have a whipping post. We prefer to have the scapegoat. And so the devil was created. But understand that the devil is very real. And the devil is as real today as it always has been. And understand another thing. The devil is as valid an entity as any of us. And in that validity, it also has the ability to create and to destroy. For we have given it that power. We have projected upon it the power of evil. And so the devil resides amongst us. We are aware of it, although many people deny its existence. It is there, and it is performing the role which we give it. The problem is, like everything, when we create a monster, then sometimes that monster slips out of our hands. We no longer control it. And this is what has happened with the devil and his hordes, for the devil creates too. And what the devil creates is never for the higher good of all. And so the devil is here causing havoc, creating havoc, doing a job far grander than we ever imagined, than we ever wanted. For we wanted someone to blame, but now we have a tangible being that is making life hell for us. Or should we say, doing its damnness to make life hell for us. What we don't understand is that everything around us is what we have created. Everything around us, our life, has been created by us. Of course, there are others involved in this illusion, but we are the creators. For we are creators. We create. And why would we not create when we are of God? And so just as we can create, we can also annihilate, we can also destroy. For there are always two sides to the same strength, two sides to the coin. What we don't understand is how we can actually destroy too. Perhaps a better word would be to uncreate. The way that we can do that, if you want to remove the devil from your life, then all you need do is to remove your attention from it, to remove your attention. We have mentioned this before, that it is not advisable to watch anything which glorifies that demonic world. In fact, it is best to divorce oneself from all kinds of media influence, which tends to glorify death, destruction, hate, hurt, crime. For all of those things are what the devil works to create. And so all we need do is to turn our attention away. We repeat these words to turn our face away from. For we are creators, and we do not understand the power that we have. And the very act of giving something our attention propagates that something, gives it strength, allows it to grow, allows it to become more. And equally, when we turn away our attention, when we ignore completely, always understanding in the back of our minds that the potential is there, but it becomes of no interest to us. Understand that our creation comes about through interest, excitement, enthusiasm, curiosity. And when we become mentally neutral about a subject, when we have no real thoughts on the subject, when we choose not to talk about it, when we choose not to think about it, when we choose not to even feel, and this is the key. When we choose not to feel something about a subject, then we have withdrawn our power. We no longer create in that arena. And so, it seems that in this world, the devil is the king. For we have invited him into our homes. We have invited him into our lives. He is ever more popular, ever more acceptable. And so all we need do is to understand that we cut off the channel of energy that we perhaps in the past have been sending to that being. And by doing that, by ignoring, it isn't even the act of ignoring. For we can ignore but still be upset and still be worried and frightened. It's understanding that we have the power to create or to uncreate. It's understanding that when we turn off our interest, when we turn off our emotions, then that being no longer is allowed into our zone, into our life. Yes, of course, we will be aware of its influence in other people's lives. We'll be aware of its influence within the world, of course. But our suggestion is that you limit that awareness to a minimum, that you do not revel in bad news, that you do not seek out bad news, that you do not seek out media that promotes bad news, that promotes death, violence, killing. And we understand that that is not easy, for this world is now filled with that. It's now filled with the glorification of darkness. Every film, every book is filled. The devil is pernicious. It has infiltrated itself in everything, except in you. For you have the power. This is your temple. You have the power to invite or to oust. And really, everything around you is an illusion. And so the body temple, where your spirit resides, where your peace of God resides, is the only part of you which you should care about. It's the only part of you which you can control completely. We are not saying that you should not care about other things. That is not our message. But when we choose to protect ourselves from these devilish ways, we do it from the inside out. We protect ourselves from within. And that withinness creates the without. For we can spend our time fighting, warring against things, protesting against things. It is of no value. For we are fighting and protesting and warring against an illusion. What we need to do is to work on the inside. Work on the inside. Turn our face away and focus on what it is that we want. What it is that we want in this life. And our suggestion is that what we focus on is our happiness. For happiness is at its lowest ebb in this world. Only the children have it, but our society, our world, very quickly steals that away. And so our job is to turn within and begin to create happiness, true happiness. And perhaps another time we will talk on how that can be done. But for the moment, our job is to deny, refuse, uncreate what we have allowed to come into our lives. It is not a difficult task. And were the billions of people here to do just that, the devil would disappear. For he would have no more power and no more influence. We created him, and we give him the permission to continue. Were we to take away that permission, he would no longer continue. But the best we can do is to work with our own selves and trust that other people at some point will also reach the same awakening. And so we leave that with you now. Turn away, remove your interest, remove enthusiasm, remove the wallowing in badness, and focus on what it is that you want. Amen.